Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing value. Value is about the importance that you put on an idea, an item, a person, or an event. The reason why I'm making this video is I feel like we as a society, we're just so broken, and I feel like the reason why that persists is because we have continued using the same values that we've always lived by. And I feel like a value is something that you can change depending on where you are in your life. I don't think it's something set in stone, and I feel like you can change it once the value that you once held dear no longer works for you. So where do we start with an item? I feel like an item can be something very sentimental. For example, your phone. Like, people want to die when they don't have their phones. Just an item that people hold dear, that they put a lot of importance on. I think that for example, a phone. A while ago, when I was still dealing with deep depression, was something that I valued because literally I felt like my life existed on it. But it was also something that was very toxic to me, and that is something that I discussed in the second episode of the wellness series, like your social circles, including the types of accounts that you follow on social media as well. Like, every time I'd go on Instagram, I would just feel like I'm doing nothing with my life, nothing is happening with my life, and people are just reaching goals every year. Like, it's just so insane to me. The same with Facebook. I just felt like I was really behind in life because of the fact that people were just reaching those kind of like generational milestones that I was very far away from. So that was something that was actually quite toxic to me. And then so what happened was I started deleting my social media accounts because of the fact that I just felt like I was just more negative. And you will not believe, like, as soon as I did that, literally when I would open my phone, my fingers would automatically want to go to that said app or said platform, because of the fact that I created such a habit in my mind of going there and making myself feel bad. So I was making it okay for myself to feel bad about situations that I had no control over. Like, the whole thing was just insane to me. Like, for example, if you don't have a car, like, it's like you're just broken, you're a broken person. But there's lots of other ways of getting around. Like, I just feel like it's not something that is super important. Yes, it will be great if you have it, but you're not broken if you are without it. I feel like the value, the importance that you might have placed on that particular item can change without you feeling like it's something that you will totally die without. Another thing that's totally trivial, it's like salt. Like, most people think that they can't live without salt, they can't live without meat, or for some reason. And I feel like it's a thing that you built in your mind. You told your mind that literally, if salt left this planet, I would die. So you put it in everything, like, it's just everywhere. But if you really take away salt for health reasons, which is something we all have to do now during this pandemic anyway, because you have to eat healthier. Values also the importance that you put on an event. For example, there are people who take their birthdays very seriously. Like, if you miss someone's birthday, it's like you've committed the biggest sin. Like, I feel like sometimes if you don't want to be hurt by that particular event, you should only expect, let's say, happy birthdays from people that really matter to you. But why go and be upset with someone that misses your birthday, misses your anniversary or whatever? It's because society taught us to make that a value. It's like a milestone or something like that. Like, I just feel like it sets us up for like failed expectations. And the only way you can change it as an adult is to only apply it to people who are most important to you. Like weddings, sometimes, like, if someone doesn't show up to your wedding, then it's all of a sudden like such an inconvenience or something like that. I just feel like yes, it is important for people to show up for one another. We learned that, especially in the Black culture. That's how I grew up, knowing that. But I just feel like there's just so much going on, especially when we grow older. Like, we have this huge crisis with our identity. Like, we're still trying to figure things out, yet we still need to hold this kind of like external persona that people still measure us with. from 10 years ago, and you'll find that you have new problems now and you really can't afford to be outside. Like, I can personally attest to this because I feel like in the last 3 years I didn't want to leave my house. Like, this was my safe space. Like, I just didn't want to leave because I felt like I couldn't deal with what was happening out there. So the only thing I could handle was what was happening in here, and by handle I mean barely handle. Anyway, so I feel like I remember there was this one year when I told myself that I'm not going to anyone's baby shower except maybe 2 or 3 of my best friends. And I just didn't want anyone to take offense to that because I just felt like I legit don't have the energy to go and pretend that everything is fine when it's not. Like, I'm having real issues that I can barely manage. So I think, but before I made that decision, I had the societal pressure in terms of, okay, how does it look like if I don't show up, and you know, all these things that are super unnecessary because my values have changed in terms of that particular thing. And on top of that, like, I feel like it's like people being asked, like newlyweds being asked when they're having a baby. It is so insulting because of the fact that you don't know if that person has been trying and maybe it's just not working out at the moment. Like, I find so many women who cry and be like, these people, they're so insensitive, blah 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 blah. And on top of, while I'm there, like, this whole thing of people saying you've changed, thinking that they're just like, I don't even understand. You're supposed to change. Like, a whole 10 years have gone by. You're supposed to be different. If you're the same, I don't know. I don't know what's up. I just don't know. And by change, I mean you grow in certain things, you start being interested in other things, you have now less interest in other things because you realize you only did that to fit in, or you only did that because that was what was happening at the time, but now you're into different things. That's okay. And I think people's values should change, like in terms of what they deem important then and what they deem important now. Importance on a person is quite tricky because I feel like we can all say that our family members are important, etc, etc. That's fine. I mean, like, outside of your family, like, who do you look up to and stuff? I feel like now, do I look up to people now? No, I feel like now I'm inspired by different people, and it's definitely not the same people that I used to find inspiration from 10 years ago. One thing that I do want to say about this particular topic is that you shouldn't force yourself to still draw kind of like inspiration from the same people that you did 10 years ago, especially if they are not kind of inspiring you now. I love Wendy from Wendy's Lookbook, like, oh my goodness. And I love her fashion, I love everything she does. The biggest reason why I was drawn to her was her whole life story. She basically grew up in the foster system. I don't know anything about the foster system, but it sounds horrible from all the TV shows. Anyway, and then she literally, when she was eligible to be on her own, she literally transferred to a university, and that's where she was. And she said that she had to work 3 jobs or something like that, I'm paraphrasing. And then after that she worked at a bank, didn't like working there, and then pursued her love for fashion, and she's doing so amazing now, and she's just a lovely I would love to meet her. Point is that yes, I was drawn to her because of fashion, but I love her life story. The way that I was raised, one of the core lessons my mother taught me is to give back, and I've always been confused about how to do that, because if you look at South Africa, the way that we give back is literally by giving food to the hungry and stuff like that, which is a valid and noble cause, because hunger / poverty is something that we struggle with, even in my area, especially now during the pandemic. But it's not the only way to give back. Like, I think something that I'm super passionate about is education, and I was literally in the middle of putting together a proposal to have psychological assistance added to schools. Like, that thing bothers me. Like, South African schools are full of broken boys who will one day be broken men, broken husbands, broken boyfriends, and will harm beautiful black girls. Like, that thing both, like, when I lie awake at night, that's the main thing I think about. And it's a value that I didn't have 10 years ago because of things that I was exposed to. I wasn't aware of other ways that you can, you know, give back to the community and stuff. And so The reason why I am talking about this whole topic is because I feel like if you feel like you are misaligned from your purpose or misaligned from where you should be fitting in, maybe it's time to look at value. Like, what do you value now instead of what you used to value? Maybe that has led you off course. So I'm basing this whole video on the definition of value, but basically I'm basing it also on change. Like, how can we affect change? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to chat a little bit more about value and aligning yourself to your purpose, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I really want to hear other people's opinions about this particular topic because I feel like it's always in my mind. So yeah, please let me know in the comments below, and also feel free to follow me on my Instagram. I'll leave all the details of that in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.